In Japan, a 600-ton granite block sits carved with precision that would challenge our best modern machines. This is Ishi-no-Hoden, and it should not exist. Across the globe, massive stone structures hide in plain sight. We will journey to walls where 1,000-ton blocks fit like puzzle pieces, underground chambers carved with impossible precision, and Easter Island where giant heads guard buried secrets. Hit that like button and subscribe for more discoveries that challenge official history. These monuments share something disturbing. They all show signs of being built before a great catastrophe that reset human civilization. Prepare yourselves, we begin. Deep in the mountains of Japan, a granite monolith defies every law of ancient construction we thought we knew. Ishi-no-Hoden towers 75 feet high and weighs more than 600 tons. But size alone does not make this structure impossible. What makes experts question everything is the precision. Someone carved this massive block into a perfect rectangular prism, with surfaces so flat and smooth they rival modern machining. The corners meet at exact 90-degree angles. The sides are parallel to within fractions of an inch across the entire 75-foot height. Think about carving a bar of soap into a perfect cube using only a butter knife. Now, imagine that bar of soap weighs as much as 3 Boeing 747 jets and is made of solid granite. That gives you an idea of what someone accomplished here, using supposedly primitive tools. The official story claims this monument was carved around the 6th century, but experts who study stone cutting know this level of precision requires diamond-tipped tools, laser measurement devices, and heavy machinery. The ancient Japanese had none of these things. They barely had iron tools. Walk around the base, and you will find something even stranger. The entire structure sits on a platform carved from the same piece of granite. This means whoever built this thing did not just cut and move a giant block. They carved away millions of pounds of solid rock to create both the monument and its foundation in one piece. Modern quarry operators struggle to achieve this kind of precision even with computer-controlled equipment. Yet someone accomplished this feat over 1,000 years ago, using methods that remain completely unknown. The Japanese government classifies this site as a national treasure, but they offer no explanation for how it was built. Local legends speak of gods who could cut stone like clay, but mainstream archaeology dismisses these stories as mythology. However, when you examine the tool marks, or rather, the complete absence of them, mythology starts feeling like historical record. The surfaces show no chisel marks, no scratches, no imperfections that would indicate hand carving. The granite appears to have been shaped by some process that left the stone perfectly smooth. Recent geological surveys reveal another mystery. The type of granite used does not match any local quarries. Someone transported this 600-ton block from somewhere else, shaped it with impossible precision, and placed it exactly where it stands today. The structure serves no apparent practical purpose. It is not a tomb, not a temple, not a fortress. It simply exists as a demonstration of technological capability that should not have existed in the 6th century. But this Japanese mystery represents just the beginning. Across the ocean, another impossible stone structure challenges everything we think we know about ancient engineering capabilities. 20 miles from Ishi-no-Hoden, another granite impossibility sits hidden in a Japanese forest. Masuda no Iwafune translates to rock ship of Masuda, and the name fits perfectly. This massive stone structure looks exactly like an enormous boat hull carved from solid granite. But calling it a boat misses the real mystery. Someone carved geometric features into this rock that serve no known purpose and required precision tools that did not exist. The structure measures 36 feet long, 26 feet wide, and 16 feet high. That makes it roughly the size of a small house. Except houses are not carved from single pieces of granite weighing over 800 tons. The entire surface has been shaped and smoothed to create flat planes and sharp edges that meet at perfect angles. But here is where things get truly strange. On the top surface, someone carved 2 perfectly square holes. These holes measure 3 feet on each side and drop straight down into the granite for about 3 feet. The walls of these holes are perfectly vertical and smooth. The corners form exact right angles. Think about drilling a square hole through concrete using only hand tools. It cannot be done. Square holes require specialized machinery because you need to remove material from corners that circular drill bits cannot reach. Yet someone accomplished this feat in solid granite over 1,000 years ago. The precision does not stop there. Between the 2 square holes runs a raised ridge that forms a perfect straight line. This ridge is exactly the same height along its entire length, varying by less than half an inch. Creating this level of consistency requires measurement tools and cutting techniques that supposedly did not exist in ancient Japan. Local archaeologists have studied this structure for decades without reaching any conclusions about its purpose. The square holes are too large and oddly shaped to hold wooden posts. They are too deep to serve as water basins. They appear to have been carved purely to demonstrate that someone possessed the technology to carve perfect square holes in granite. Recent laser scanning reveals even more mysteries. The entire structure contains dozens of subtle geometric features that are invisible to casual observation. Hidden angles, precise curves, and mathematical relationships that suggest this rock ship was designed using advanced geometric principles. The tool marks tell the same impossible story as Ishi-no-Hoden. There are none. The granite surfaces appear to have been shaped by some process that left no traces of how the work was accomplished. Modern stone carvers who examine the structure cannot explain how anyone achieved such results using any known technique. Carbon dating proves useless on solid granite, so the age remains a mystery. Local legends claim the structure has existed since before recorded history, created by beings who possessed knowledge lost to time. But Japan holds no monopoly on impossible stone cutting. Halfway around the world, ancient builders left evidence of even more advanced techniques. High in the Andes mountains, stone walls demonstrate construction techniques that modern engineers cannot duplicate. These are not ordinary walls built from small stones and mortar. These barriers consist of massive granite and andesite blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, fitted together with such precision that not even a knife blade can slip between them. The blocks interlock like 3-dimensional puzzle pieces, with complex angles and curves that would challenge modern computer-aided design. Imagine trying to fit together a jigsaw puzzle where each piece weighs as much as a freight train and must be positioned with millimeter accuracy. Now, imagine doing this without cranes, without measuring tools, and without mortar to hide imperfections. That describes exactly what ancient South American builders accomplished. At Sacsayhuaman, near Cusco, Peru, walls stretch for over 1,000 feet, using blocks that dwarf anything built by the Romans or Egyptians. The largest stone measures 28 feet high, 13 feet wide, and weighs an estimated 360 tons. Moving this single block would require modern heavy lifting equipment, yet someone transported it up a mountain and fitted it perfectly into place. The cutting precision defies explanation. Each block has been shaped to fit exactly one specific position in the wall. The surfaces curve and angle in complex ways that create perfect joints without gaps or overlaps. Some blocks have over a dozen faces, each one carved to mate precisely with neighboring stones. Think of whittling a wooden toy with curves and angles so complex that each piece can only fit in one exact spot. Now imagine doing this with stones that weigh hundreds of tons and are harder than steel. The level of planning and execution required suggests access to technology we have only recently developed. The construction technique remains completely unknown. Modern stonemasons who study these walls cannot explain how anyone achieved such precision. The blocks show no tool marks, no evidence of chisels or hammers. The surfaces appear to have been shaped by some process that left the stone perfectly smooth and precisely angled. Recent analysis using ground-penetrating radar reveals another mystery. These walls extend deep underground, with foundations that go down over 30 feet in some areas. The builders were not just creating impressive facades, they were engineering massive structures designed to last for thousands of years. Similar walls appear throughout Peru, Bolivia, and other parts of South America. At Ollantaytambo, blocks weighing 50 tons were lifted to heights of over 60 feet and fitted with the same impossible precision. At Tiwanaku in Bolivia, builders used andesite so hard that modern diamond-tipped tools struggle to cut it. The age of these structures remains hotly debated. Official archaeology dates them to the Inca period, around 500 years ago, but the Incas themselves claim they inherited these walls from much earlier civilizations. Local legends speak of builders who could make stone soft like clay, then harden it again once it was in position. When modern researchers try to explain these construction techniques, they run into immediate problems. The precision requires advanced surveying and cutting tools. The logistics require heavy machinery for transport and positioning. Yet according to official timelines, none of this technology existed in ancient South America. But these South American mysteries pale in comparison to what ancient builders accomplished in the deserts of the Middle East. In the remote hills of the Golan Heights, a massive stone circle sits abandoned in one of the most contested territories on Earth. Rujum El Hiri consists of 5 concentric rings of basalt stones, arranged in a precise geometric pattern that spans over 500 feet across. From the air, it resembles a giant bullseye carved into the landscape. Local Bedouins call it the heap of the wild cats, but this structure is far more sophisticated than any random pile of rocks. The outer ring alone contains over 42,000 tons of basalt stones, each one carefully selected and positioned. That is more stone than was used to build most ancient temples. Someone invested enormous effort to create this monument in the middle of nowhere, far from any known ancient settlements. Think about organizing a construction project that requires moving 42,000 tons of stone without trucks, cranes, or even wheeled vehicles. You would need hundreds of workers laboring for years just to gather the materials. Then you would need master architects to design the precise layout and skilled supervisors to ensure accurate construction. But the real mystery lies in the astronomical alignments. The main entrance points exactly toward the sunrise on the summer solstice. Secondary openings align with other celestial events throughout the year. This stone circle functions as a massive astronomical calendar that tracks the movements of the sun, moon, and stars with mathematical precision. Recent archaeological surveys reveal even more complexity. The spacing between the rings follows mathematical ratios found in advanced geometric principles. The overall design incorporates knowledge of astronomy, engineering, and mathematics that should not have existed when this structure was supposedly built. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the stone rings suggests an age of over 5,000 years. That makes this structure older than Stonehenge and contemporary with the earliest Egyptian pyramids. Yet it sits in a region where mainstream archaeology claims no advanced civilizations existed. The central feature adds another layer of mystery. At the exact center of the concentric rings stands a massive stone cairn containing over 5,000 tons of basalt. This central mound rises to 32 feet high and measures over 60 feet across. Recent excavations revealed it contains a burial chamber, but the chamber was already empty when archaeologists reached it. The engineering required to build this structure challenges assumptions about ancient capabilities. The designers needed advanced knowledge of surveying to create perfect circles spanning hundreds of feet. They needed astronomical knowledge to calculate precise celestial alignments. They needed organizational skills to coordinate a massive construction project. Ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal the structure extends underground, with hidden chambers and passages that have never been excavated. The complete layout may be far more complex than what appears on the surface. Local legends claim this site was built by giants who possessed knowledge of the stars and could move massive stones through the power of sound. Mainstream archaeology dismisses these stories, but the physical evidence suggests whoever built this structure possessed capabilities that conventional history does not acknowledge. The isolation makes the mystery even deeper. Why build such an elaborate astronomical observatory in the middle of nowhere? Who had the resources and motivation to complete such a massive project? And why has this incredible structure remained largely unknown to the general public? The answer may lie in understanding that ancient builders possessed knowledge and capabilities far beyond what we have given them credit for. But even this impressive stone circle cannot prepare you for what ancient engineers accomplished in the Arabian desert. In the heart of the Saudi Arabian desert, a massive sandstone formation displays what appears to be impossible precision cutting. Al-Nasla stands 39 feet tall and consists of two enormous sandstone pillars that were once a single rock formation. But these pillars are separated by a gap so perfectly straight and narrow that it looks like someone sliced through the stone with a giant laser beam. The cut extends from the very top of the formation all the way down to ground level with mathematical precision. The gap measures exactly 4 inches wide along its entire length. The walls of this split are perfectly parallel and completely smooth. There are no tool marks, no rough edges, no signs of gradual splitting or erosion. The cut looks like it was made by an industrial diamond saw, except this formation sits in the middle of a desert where no such technology has ever existed. Think about trying to cut a loaf of bread with a knife so sharp and steady that the slice creates perfectly parallel walls 4 inches apart. Now imagine that loaf of bread is 39 feet tall, made of solid sandstone, and weighs over 2,000 tons. The precision required defies any known cutting technique from the ancient world. Natural forces cannot explain this phenomenon. Wind erosion creates irregular patterns, not straight lines. Water creates curved channels, not parallel walls. Earthquakes create jagged cracks, not smooth surfaces. Temperature changes cause random fractures, not precise geometric cuts. The most puzzling aspect is the bottom of the split. The gap continues all the way down to the base, where both halves of the formation rest on small pedestals of rock. These pedestals appear to be the only things supporting the massive weight of each half. It looks like someone cut through the entire formation, but left just enough material at the bottom to prevent the pieces from falling over. Recent geological surveys using ground-penetrating radar reveal even stranger details. The cut extends below ground level, suggesting the split goes deeper than what appears on the surface. The precision continues underground with the same perfectly parallel walls and smooth surfaces. Local Bedouin tribes have legends about this formation that go back centuries. They claim it was split by a divine sword that could cut through any material, while mainstream geology dismisses such stories as folklore. The physical evidence presents a genuine mystery that conventional explanations cannot solve. The sandstone itself provides another clue. This particular type of rock is extremely hard and would require diamond-tipped tools to cut with such precision. Even modern quarrying operations struggle to achieve straight cuts through this material without specialized equipment. Yet someone accomplished this feat thousands of years ago using unknown methods. Photography from different angles reveals additional mysteries. The petroglyphs carved into the surface of both halves show human and animal figures that predate known civilization in this region. These carvings were made after the split occurred, proving that ancient peoples discovered this formation already in its current state. The isolated location adds to the enigma. Al-Nasla sits far from any known ancient trade routes or settlements. Why would anyone invest the enormous effort required to create such a precise cut in the middle of nowhere? And how did they accomplish such technological precision without leaving any evidence of the tools or techniques used? The structure challenges our understanding of what ancient peoples could accomplish. It suggests access to cutting technology that we assume did not exist until the modern era. But this Saudi Arabian mystery represents just one piece of a much larger puzzle that spans the ancient world. Deep in Egypt, another impossible structure waits to reveal secrets that predate the pharaohs by thousands of years. Buried beneath the sands of Abydos, Egypt, lies a temple that should not exist according to official Egyptian chronology. The Osirion sits 30 feet below ground level, built from massive granite blocks that dwarf the stones used in the Great Pyramid. These blocks weigh up to 200 tons each and are fitted together with the same impossible precision found in South American walls. But here is what makes this structure truly mysterious. It was built using construction techniques that predate the pyramids by thousands of years. Walking into the Osirion feels like entering a different world. The massive granite walls rise from pools of groundwater that have flooded the lower chambers. The architecture has none of the decorative elements typical of Egyptian temples. Instead, you find stark, functional design focused purely on structural engineering and mathematical precision. Think about building a structure designed to last forever, using only the heaviest, most durable materials available. That describes the engineering philosophy behind the Osirion. Every element serves a structural purpose. Every joint demonstrates perfect craftsmanship. Every surface shows precision that modern stonemasons struggle to achieve. The megalithic construction technique sets this temple apart from all other Egyptian monuments. The builders used massive blocks fitted together without mortar, relying on perfect cutting and gravity to hold the structure together. This approach requires far more skill and precision than the smaller blocks and mortar used in later Egyptian construction. Recent archaeological evidence suggests the Osirion is much older than previously thought. The structure shows clear signs of water damage from a time when the Nile River ran at a much higher level. Geological studies indicate this flooding occurred during the last ice age, over 10,000 years ago. The architectural style also points to extreme antiquity. The Osirion lacks the decorative elements, hieroglyphs, and artistic flourishes that characterize later Egyptian temples. Instead, it displays the stark, functional aesthetic of megalithic structures found around the world. This suggests it belongs to a much earlier period of human civilization. The construction methods present another puzzle. Moving and positioning 200-ton granite blocks requires heavy lifting equipment and precise engineering. The builders needed cranes capable of lifting massive weights and measuring tools accurate enough to ensure perfect fits between blocks. Yet, mainstream archaeology claims such technology did not exist in ancient Egypt. The underground location adds another layer of mystery. The Osirion was not built below ground level. It was constructed at surface level and then buried by thousands of years of sand accumulation and Nile River deposits. This means the structure is far older than any other known Egyptian monument. Recent ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal the Osirion extends much deeper underground than previously known. Hidden chambers and passages connect to the main structure through a complex network that has never been fully explored. The complete layout may include features that would revolutionize our understanding of ancient Egyptian capabilities. The granite itself tells a story of advanced logistics. These massive blocks were quarried hundreds of miles away in Aswan and transported to Abydos using unknown methods. The precision cutting was accomplished before transport, suggesting access to advanced stoneworking facilities that left no trace in the archaeological record. Local legends claim the Osirion was built by the gods themselves before the first pharaohs ruled Egypt. While mainstream Egyptology dismisses such stories, the physical evidence supports the possibility that this structure predates known Egyptian civilization by thousands of years. The implications are staggering. If the Osirion represents the work of an advanced civilization that existed before the pharaohs, then our entire understanding of ancient history requires revision. But this Egyptian mystery is just one part of a global pattern of impossible ancient construction. Across Europe, underground chambers demonstrate the same advanced capabilities using completely different architectural approaches. Deep beneath the Spanish countryside, a stone passage built over 6,000 years ago demonstrates astronomical knowledge that challenges everything we thought we knew about prehistoric Europeans. The Dolmen de Soto stretches for over 60 feet underground, lined with massive granite slabs that create a perfectly straight corridor leading to a central chamber. But this is not just an impressive feat of underground construction. This passage functions as a sophisticated astronomical instrument designed to capture and focus sunlight at precise moments throughout the year. Every winter solstice, sunlight penetrates the entire length of the corridor and illuminates specific symbols carved into the back wall of the chamber. The alignment is so precise that the light beam travels the full 60 feet in a perfectly straight line and hits its target within minutes of the exact solstice moment. This requires mathematical calculations and engineering precision that supposedly did not exist in prehistoric Europe. Think about designing a building that captures sunlight at one specific moment each year and focuses it on one exact spot, 60 feet away underground. You would need advanced knowledge of astronomy to calculate the sun's position, surveying skills to achieve perfect alignment, and engineering expertise to construct a stable underground passage. Yet Neolithic builders accomplished this feat over 6,000 years ago. The construction itself defies conventional understanding of prehistoric capabilities. The corridor is lined with granite slabs weighing up to 15 tons each. These massive stones were quarried, shaped, transported, and positioned with precision that creates a perfectly straight passage. The ceiling slabs span the entire width of the corridor without any supporting columns. Recent laser scanning reveals the astronomical alignments extend far beyond the winter solstice. The passage captures sunlight at multiple points throughout the year, creating a complex calendar system that tracks seasonal changes with mathematical precision. The builders incorporated knowledge of celestial mechanics that we assume was not discovered until thousands of years later. The symbols carved into the walls add another layer of mystery. These petroglyphs include geometric patterns, astronomical symbols, and abstract designs that appear to record astronomical observations. Some symbols align perfectly with the incoming sunlight during specific celestial events, suggesting they serve as markers in a sophisticated calendrical system. The engineering challenges would have been enormous. Building underground requires solutions for structural support, water drainage, and precise excavation. The builders needed to calculate load-bearing requirements for massive stone slabs and ensure the structure would remain stable for thousands of years. Ground-penetrating radar reveals the Dolmen de Soto connects to a larger network of underground chambers and passages that have never been fully explored. The complete layout may include additional astronomical alignments and features that would further demonstrate the advanced capabilities of the builders. The age of this structure predates Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids, and most other famous ancient monuments. Yet it demonstrates astronomical knowledge and engineering skills that rival or exceed anything built in later periods. This suggests that prehistoric Europeans possessed scientific capabilities that conventional archaeology has seriously underestimated. The precision of the astronomical alignments cannot be explained by accident or trial and error. The builders clearly understood celestial mechanics and possessed the mathematical tools necessary to calculate complex astronomical relationships. They also had the engineering skills to translate these calculations into physical structures that still function perfectly after 6,000 years. Local archaeological evidence suggests the Dolmen de Soto was part of a larger complex that included multiple underground chambers and surface monuments. The complete facility may have functioned as an astronomical observatory and calendar system that served communities across a wide region. The implications challenge fundamental assumptions about the development of human civilization. If Neolithic Europeans possessed advanced astronomical knowledge and engineering capabilities, then our timeline of human technological development requires serious revision. But Spain is not the only location where ancient builders created underground astronomical observatories. In Ireland, an even more sophisticated structure demonstrates that prehistoric Europeans shared advanced knowledge across thousands of miles. In the rolling hills of Ireland, a Stone Age monument performs an astronomical feat that modern architects struggle to duplicate. Newgrange appears from the outside to be nothing more than a large grass-covered mound surrounded by standing stones. But hidden within this ancient structure lies a passage tomb designed with such precision that it captures and channels sunlight for exactly 17 minutes each winter solstice. This incredible feat of solar engineering was accomplished over 5,000 years ago by people who supposedly lacked knowledge of advanced mathematics and astronomy. The entrance passage stretches for 62 feet into the heart of the mound, rising gradually toward a central chamber. The entire corridor was constructed with mathematical precision to ensure that sunlight entering through a special opening above the entrance door will travel the full length of the passage and illuminate the back wall of the chamber. This happens only during the winter solstice, and only for those magical 17 minutes. Think about building a telescope that must point to one exact spot in the sky and capture light at one precise moment each year. Now imagine that telescope is 62 feet long, built from massive stones, and designed to last for thousands of years. That describes the engineering challenge ancient Irish builders solved at Newgrange. The precision required defies explanation using conventional understanding of Stone Age capabilities. The passage must rise at exactly the right angle to match the sun's trajectory during winter solstice. The roof stones must be positioned to prevent any structural settling that would throw off the alignment. The entrance must face the precise direction where the sun will appear on the shortest day of the year. Recent archaeological surveys reveal the builders incorporated features that demonstrate advanced understanding of structural engineering. The massive capstones that form the roof are carefully shaped and positioned to distribute weight evenly and prevent collapse. The walls lean inward slightly to increase stability and ensure the structure remains intact for millennia. The astronomical knowledge required represents another impossible achievement. Calculating the exact position of the winter solstice sunrise requires understanding celestial mechanics that we assume was not discovered until thousands of years later. The builders needed to track the sun's movements over multiple years and perform complex mathematical calculations to determine the precise alignment. The construction logistics would have challenged even modern project managers. The monument required over 200,000 tons of stone quarried from locations up to 50 miles away. Massive capstones weighing up to 10 tons were lifted into position using unknown techniques. The entire project demanded coordination of hundreds of workers over many years. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the structure confirms an age of over 5,000 years. This makes Newgrange older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Yet, it demonstrates technological sophistication that supposedly did not exist until much later periods of human development. The interior chamber contains additional mysteries. The walls are covered with spiral carvings and geometric patterns that appear to record astronomical observations. Some symbols align with the incoming solstice light, suggesting they serve as markers in a sophisticated calendar system. The mathematical relationships between these symbols indicate knowledge of advanced geometric principles. Recent studies using computer modeling reveal the solar alignment will remain accurate for thousands more years. The builders did not just create a structure that worked for their own time. They engineered a monument designed to function correctly across vast spans of time, demonstrating understanding of long-term celestial cycles that modern astronomy has only recently discovered. The cultural implications are staggering. Newgrange required a sophisticated society with advanced knowledge, skilled craftsmen, and the organizational capability to complete massive construction projects. Yet mainstream archaeology claims the people who built this monument were simple farmers with primitive tools and limited understanding of the world around them. The evidence suggests otherwise. The builders of Newgrange possessed knowledge that allowed them to perform feats of astronomical and engineering precision that challenge our assumptions about prehistoric capabilities. But this Irish masterpiece represents just one example of impossible ancient achievements that span the globe. In Lebanon, ancient builders left evidence of construction techniques that surpass anything we can accomplish today. In the mountains of Lebanon, 3 limestone blocks challenge every assumption about ancient construction capabilities. These are not ordinary building stones. The Trilithon of Baalbek consists of 3 massive limestone blocks, each one measuring 65 feet long, 14 feet high, and 12 feet deep. Each block weighs approximately 800 tons. To put this in perspective, that is heavier than 4 fully loaded Boeing 747 jumbo jets stacked on top of each other. But weight alone does not make these stones impossible. What defies explanation is their position. These massive blocks sit 20 feet above ground level, fitted together with precision that leaves no gaps between them. Someone lifted 800 tons of limestone to this height and positioned each block with millimeter accuracy using technology that should not have existed 2,000 years ago. Modern construction cranes can lift at most 400 tons, and only under perfect conditions with specially designed equipment. Moving 800 tons requires the largest mobile cranes in existence, plus massive support vehicles and expert operators. Yet, ancient builders accomplished this feat without any modern technology whatsoever. Think about moving your house to a new location. Now, imagine your house weighs 800 tons and must be lifted 20 feet in the air and positioned with perfect precision. The logistical challenges are mind-boggling even with modern equipment. Ancient builders had no hydraulic systems, no steel cables, no computer-controlled machinery. The quarry site adds another layer of impossibility. A fourth stone, even larger than the trilithon blocks, sits partially cut in a quarry half a mile away. This stone, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, measures 68 feet long and weighs over 1,000 tons. It was shaped and prepared for transport but never moved from the quarry. The cutting marks show the same impossible precision found throughout the site. Recent archaeological surveys reveal the foundation extends much deeper underground than previously known. Ground-penetrating radar shows massive stone blocks continue down for over 30 feet below the visible surface. The complete foundation may contain thousands of tons of precisely cut and positioned limestone blocks. The transportation method remains completely unknown. The route from quarry to construction site includes steep slopes and rough terrain that would challenge modern heavy hauling equipment. Ancient builders had no roads capable of supporting 800-ton loads, no vehicles designed for such weights, no machinery for lifting and loading. The precision cutting raises additional questions. Each block was shaped to fit exactly in its designated position. The surfaces are flat and smooth, the angles are precise, the dimensions are consistent. This level of accuracy requires advanced measuring tools and cutting equipment that left no traces in the archaeological record. Local legends offer the only explanations. Ancient texts speak of giants who could move massive stones through supernatural power, while mainstream archaeology dismisses such accounts. The physical evidence presents genuine mysteries that conventional explanations cannot address. The construction timeline presents its own puzzles. Official history attributes Baalbek to Roman construction around 2,000 years ago, but the foundation stones show wear patterns and weathering that suggest much greater age. Some researchers argue the massive blocks predate Roman occupation by thousands of years. The engineering implications are staggering. Moving and positioning the trilithon blocks required solving problems that challenge modern construction capabilities. The builders needed heavy lifting equipment that could handle loads far beyond what any ancient technology should have been capable of achieving. The purpose of using such massive stones remains unclear. Smaller blocks would have been much easier to work with and could have achieved the same structural goals. The choice to use 800-ton blocks suggests the builders wanted to demonstrate capabilities that would impress viewers for thousands of years to come. Recent computer modeling studies confirm that replicating the trilithon construction would challenge even modern engineering firms. The project would require custom-designed equipment, extensive planning, and budgets measured in hundreds of millions of dollars. Yet, ancient builders accomplished this feat using methods that remain completely unknown. The evidence suggests access to technology that conventional archaeology does not acknowledge. Whether this technology was based on principles we no longer understand or represented capabilities of an advanced civilization that has been lost to history, the Trilithon of Baalbek stands as proof that ancient builders could accomplish the impossible. But massive stone construction represents only one category of ancient mysteries. In North America, earthwork builders demonstrated equally impossible capabilities using completely different techniques. Stretching across the Ohio landscape, an enormous earthwork depicts a cosmic event that happened 13,000 years ago. The Great Serpent Mound measures 1,348 feet from head to tail. making it the largest serpent effigy in the world. From ground level, it appears to be nothing more than a winding ridge of earth, about 3 feet high. But from the air, the true marvel becomes apparent. This earthwork forms a perfect representation of a serpent with its mouth open, apparently swallowing an egg-shaped object. But this is not just an impressive piece of ancient art. Recent astronomical analysis reveals the serpent's body perfectly matches the constellation Draco as it appeared in the night sky 13,000 years ago. The builders created an exact ground-based replica of a star pattern that was only visible from Earth during the last ice age. Think about trying to draw a constellation on the ground so accurately that it matches the actual star positions from thousands of years ago. You would need advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematical skills to calculate stellar positions across vast time periods, and surveying expertise to transfer celestial coordinates to earthwork construction. Yet prehistoric Native Americans accomplished this feat with precision that rivals modern astronomical calculations. The construction logistics present their own mysteries. Building a 1,300-foot earthwork requires moving over 300,000 cubic feet of soil. Workers would need to excavate earth from surrounding areas, transport it to the construction site, and shape it into precise curves and angles. The entire project would have required coordination of hundreds of people working according to a detailed master plan. Recent ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal the serpent mound contains internal structures that are not visible from the surface. Buried chambers, hidden passages, and geometric features suggest a level of complexity that far exceeds what appears above ground. The complete design may include elements that would revolutionize our understanding of prehistoric North American capabilities. The astronomical alignments extend beyond just the constellation match. The serpent's head points toward the summer solstice sunset. The curves in the body align with lunar cycles and other celestial events. The entire structure functions as a massive astronomical calendar that tracks multiple cosmic phenomena with mathematical precision. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the earthwork provides conflicting age estimates, ranging from 1,000 to 3,000 years old. But the astronomical evidence suggests the design references star positions from 13,000 years ago. This discrepancy implies the builders preserved extremely ancient astronomical knowledge and incorporated it into their earthwork construction. The precision required defies conventional understanding of prehistoric surveying capabilities. Creating accurate curves spanning over 1,000 feet requires mathematical calculations and measuring techniques that supposedly did not exist in prehistoric North America. The builders needed to maintain consistent dimensions and smooth transitions across the entire length of the serpent. The purpose of this massive undertaking remains unclear. Building the serpent mound required enormous investment of time, labor, and resources, yet it serves no apparent practical function. The structure cannot be used for habitation, defense, or food storage. It exists purely as a demonstration of astronomical knowledge and construction capabilities. Local Native American traditions provide the only explanations. Tribal legends speak of ancient star knowledge passed down through countless generations. These stories describe a time when sky watchers possessed understanding of celestial mechanics that allowed them to predict cosmic events and preserve star patterns in earthwork form. Recent archaeological evidence suggests the serpent mound was part of a larger complex that included multiple earthworks and astronomical observation platforms. The complete facility may have functioned as a prehistoric observatory that served communities across a wide region of North America. The implications challenge fundamental assumptions about prehistoric Native American capabilities. If the builders possessed advanced astronomical knowledge and engineering skills, then our understanding of indigenous achievements requires serious revision. The serpent mound stands as proof that ancient peoples could accomplish feats that rival modern scientific capabilities. But North American earthworks represent just one example of impossible ancient construction. In South America, stone builders created structures that seemed to defy the basic laws of physics. On the shores of Lake Umayo in Peru, ancient builders created stone towers that appear to violate the fundamental laws of structural engineering. The chulpas of Silistani rise up to 40 feet into the sky, built from massive stone blocks that increase in size toward the top of each structure. This inverted pyramid design should be impossible. Basic physics dictates that buildings must be wider at the base to support the weight above. Yet these towers succeed in balancing enormous stone blocks in configurations that seem to defy gravity. Think about stacking wooden blocks to build a tower. Common sense tells you to put the biggest blocks on the bottom and smaller ones on top. Now imagine doing the opposite, with each level bigger and heavier than the one below. Your tower would immediately topple over. Yet the builders of Silistani accomplished exactly this impossible feat using stones that weigh several tons each. The largest chulpa demonstrates the most extreme example of this anti-gravity construction. The base measures 12 feet in diameter, but the top expands to over 20 feet across. The massive capstone that crowns this structure weighs an estimated 15 tons and overhangs the supporting walls by several feet on all sides. No visible supports prevent this enormous stone from crashing to the ground. Recent structural analysis using computer modeling confirms that these towers should not be able to stand. The center of gravity for the upper portions lies outside the base of support, creating unstable conditions that should result in immediate collapse. Yet these structures have remained standing for over 600 years, surviving earthquakes, storms, and the test of time. The construction technique remains completely unknown. Each stone was individually shaped to fit its exact position in the tower. The surfaces are so precisely cut that the joints between blocks are nearly invisible. Some stones interlock with complex three-dimensional shapes that prevent movement in any direction. The precision of the stonework surpasses anything found in European medieval construction. Each block fits perfectly with its neighbors, creating joints so tight that not even a knife blade can slip between them. The surfaces are polished smooth, and the angles are mathematically precise. This level of craftsmanship requires tools and techniques that supposedly did not exist in pre-Columbian South America. The logistical challenges would have been enormous. The massive capstones had to be lifted to heights of 40 feet and positioned with millimeter accuracy. Ancient builders had no cranes, no pulleys, no machinery capable of handling multi-ton loads at such heights. Yet, they accomplished these feats using methods that remain completely mysterious. Local Inca legends claim these towers were built by an earlier civilization that possessed knowledge of making stone weightless. While mainstream archaeology dismisses such stories as mythology, the physical evidence presents genuine puzzles that conventional engineering cannot explain. Recent excavations reveal the chulpas contain burial chambers designed with the same impossible precision found in the exterior construction. Internal passages, hidden chambers, and geometric features demonstrate that the builders possessed advanced architectural knowledge that extended far beyond simple tower construction. The purpose of the inverted pyramid design remains unclear. This configuration serves no apparent structural advantage and creates enormous engineering challenges. The builders seem determined to demonstrate capabilities that would impress viewers for centuries to come, regardless of the additional difficulty and complexity involved. Ground-penetrating radar surveys reveal some towers contain internal structures that have never been excavated. Hidden chambers, passage systems, and geometric features suggest the complete design may include elements that would further challenge our understanding of ancient Peruvian capabilities. The implications are staggering. If ancient builders possessed techniques for creating stable structures that defy conventional engineering principles, then our understanding of pre-Columbian technological capabilities requires fundamental revision. The chulpas of Silistani stand as proof that ancient peoples could accomplish the seemingly impossible. But Peru does not hold a monopoly on impossible ancient construction. In China, underground chambers demonstrate precision that challenges our understanding of ancient stoneworking capabilities. Deep beneath the mountains of eastern China, artificial caves demonstrate construction precision that seems impossible for ancient hand tools. The Longyu caves consist of 24 enormous underground chambers carved directly from solid sandstone. Each chamber measures over 100 feet long, 30 feet wide and 15 feet high. The walls, floors, and ceilings are carved with mathematical precision that creates perfectly flat surfaces, exact right angles, and smooth transitions between different sections. But here is what makes these caves truly impossible. The walls show no tool marks whatsoever. Modern stone carvers who examine the surfaces cannot explain how anyone achieved such smooth, precise results. The sandstone appears to have been shaped by some process that left no traces of the cutting method used. Think about carving a room from solid rock using only hand tools. Every chisel strike would leave marks. Every cutting action would create scratches, gouges, or surface irregularities. Yet, the Longyu caves display none of these telltale signs of manual carving. The surfaces look like they were shaped by industrial machinery that polished away every imperfection. The precision extends to every aspect of the construction. Columns carved from the living rock support the ceiling with perfect symmetry. The spacing between columns follows mathematical ratios that create harmonious proportions throughout each chamber. Decorative elements are carved with geometric accuracy that would challenge modern computer-controlled cutting equipment. Recent laser scanning reveals the true extent of the precision. The walls are flat to within fractions of an inch across spans of over 100 feet. The angles between walls and ceiling are exactly 90 degrees. The column spacing varies by less than 1 inch throughout entire chambers. This level of consistency requires measuring tools and cutting techniques that supposedly did not exist in ancient China. The excavation process presents its own mysteries. Removing the sandstone from 24 chambers would have required hauling away over 1 million cubic feet of rock. Where did all this material go? No enormous piles of waste rock have been found anywhere near the cave sites. The excavated stone seems to have simply vanished. Carbon dating of organic materials found within the caves suggests they were carved over 2,000 years ago during the Han Dynasty. But the precision and scale of the construction far exceeds anything known from that historical period. The caves demonstrate technological capabilities that conventional Chinese archaeology does not acknowledge. The purpose of these underground chambers remains completely unknown. They contain no evidence of habitation, no storage facilities, no religious artifacts. The caves appear to exist purely as demonstrations of advanced stone carving capabilities. Someone invested enormous effort to create these underground spaces without any apparent practical purpose.